Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your April 2023 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well. It's so nice to be coming on and talking to you as we are getting closer to your season. Yes, at the later part of April, we will hit Taurus season. We will get a full illumination of the nodal axis, and we will truly start to be able to perceive the entire moral of the last 1.5 year cycle of our experience, especially for Taurus or Scorpio people. Any fixed sign, really. I feel the month of April to be a very illuminating period of time, and it's kind of like day by day or night by night, there is just a quick aging process. So when I'm saying aging, it's almost like wisdom or clarity or morals coming through that you couldn't have expected. So I'm seeing that channel in a few different ways. Like, for example, you could kind of like not even relate to some of the ideas you were having just a few weeks ago, or certainly like within the last year. And it might almost be like every single day there's this major like quantum level up or quantum increase in understanding as the sun approaches closer and closer to the nodal axis over this month. I believe sometime around April 25th it will conjoin the North Node and obviously oppose the South Node. Also, we have some other really interesting transits happening this month. Major Aries stellium right, Jupiter Chiron conjunct in Aries, conjunct in your collective 12th house. So I feel that you are getting a major unconscious illumination, combining those energies together. Like, you understand the deeper complex, and it might be good to have Scorpios around, or if you have more Scorpio in your chart, you might be better prepared to perceive of some of these like deeper grids and deeper networks or deeper webs of experience. So let's delve into this a little bit more, Taurus, before we talk about your week to week, about creating space to get to the meat of things, creating space to save yourself time in the future, creating space to better, I suppose, optimize or coordinate your nervous system and basically your perception. So I am seeing this as basically starting to grid out your life in a very deliberate way. So starting to combine things into categories is really good, like new forms of organization, making sure that nothing's falling by the wayside. By April of 2023, we want to be totally out of any of this, like, I work 90 hours a week and I'm making all of this money, but the rest of my life is in complete and total disrepair to like make it work. Like really high highs and low lows, some things in life that are perfect and other things that are in like devastation. Okay, this is something that the nodal axis in Taurus and Scorpio is teaching us about, that extreme, that contrast, that polarity. And I feel that the illumination or the moral of living experiences like that comes through this month with the combination of the Jupiter Chiron conjunction and then the sun moving towards the nodes. And the way that we can work with that is by starting to even things out and spread things out. Having a good food system in your life, having a good exercise regime, having a good biorhythm of sleep cycles that is consistent enough, having a good budget, having, positive relationships, making time for art and creativity. We really need these wholesome, holistic grids, for lack of a better word, in order to get to the real stuff, okay? Because I feel that some of these extreme cycles or some of these, like, what may have been seen just a few months ago as very empowering stories start to become, what would I say? They start to become kind of cruel for some people. And it seems important to tone it down a little bit and to reinstate or reassert the true focus, okay? I also feel that by May, Taurus, once we're really getting into your season, it's not that your true focus has to be like totally there and totally manifested. I don't think rushing is in any way smart in the year of the rabbit, okay? In the 2023 year cycle, we have consequences that can come for rushing. The 2022 year cycle was much better for any rushing, pushing really hard, moving really fast, headfirst, headlong into all kinds of mazes that, yes, many people kind of get stuck in for a long time. But now we want to have more spread out, deliberate, safe situations. So systems are so good, okay? Systems of like getting your own oxygen mask on, okay, in any way in your life, so that you have the capability to do what you want. I'm seeing a lot of people like not getting their own oxygen mask on, or trying to help other people, trying to also do really like astounding quantum creative sort of I don't know, very high contrast goals without having certain very simple things aligned. So that's misery, okay, because it takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of health to manifest on such a high quantum level. So I feel that people will look very like, it's not about looking bad, but just not be very healthy if they're not getting these like smaller, skin deep, not skin deep. Okay, these are very deep things, but it seems skin deep, I suppose, in these modern cultures, like just like where the food is coming from, how many times a day we're eating, what times of day we're sleeping. Your sign has a rulership over food and over routine spending, budgeting, the routine of eating, the routine of sleeping, as does Virgo in the 6th house as well, but Taurus does to an extent too. So I think that while we're in Aries season, okay, so early April until we get to your time around the 21st, try to just push into simplicity and push into good routines and positive, abundant, simple things. And with that, you're going to sustain a lot more. Something about sustaining the dopamine cycle, something about having less peaks and valleys, something about having even greater heights without such volatility because of better sustained, more evenly distributed resources, cycles, and time management spectrums. That's where it's at for you guys moving into your season this year. Let's talk about your week to week. I'm just finding your image here, Taurus. Okay. Yes. Okay. So very spiritual. Okay. Week number 1, the Hierophant rooted by the 9 of Cups. Anything that you might have needed to risk a little bit for is also not bad during that time. So the Hierophant and the 9 of Cups is like great luck. It's spiritual abundance. It's also having passed some kind of test. So I feel in the first week of April, you're passing a test, Taurus, or it's not even maybe that you have a test, but maybe a very long-running test, like a multi-year level test is passed by you in the first week. So that's really big. And also, it's a good time to be communicating with any gatekeepers, so people that you need to help you, people that you need to request assistance from, people who also require some form of recommendation, or maybe people need you to recommend them for something. Like, I feel like there's some kind of relationship-based healing process for you, and it's very spiritual. I also see maybe some of you are moving more into like spiritual organizations, perhaps. Of course, the Hierophant has rulership over religious institutions, spiritual organizations, which is going to probably grow with Saturn in Pisces. So that is indicated for some of you in the first week. And for many of you, that can be lucky and can be prosperous as well with the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is the card of prosperity. Also remembering the power of yourself within your own spiritual journey. Remembering the shadow of this combination is also like maybe attributing too much power to another person. So thinking, I can only move forward with my goals if that person supports me, or I can only receive absolution if the church supports me, that type of thing. Watch out for that. That can be very shadowy during Saturn in Pisces. And I am seeing a lot of people holding themselves back because they are giving too much other people outside of themselves authority over their journey. So try to maybe change up the mindset there a little bit too. But it's not all bad either. Like, you can also have good luck, or you can have like a spiritual leader who helps you to transcend something, or someone who's also very spiritually strong, helping you through prayer or something. There are ways that it's also positive. Week 2, the Knight of Swords, rooted down by the Knight of Wands, reversed. Okay, so yes, you want to balance your speed of doing things. I am suggesting to everybody to slow down a little bit and just institute better functioning systems. Leverage is our best friend in Year of the Rabbit. And yes, we have to be careful. I know that economically leverage can mean like debt or borrowing. And for some people, it is very strategic right now. But then of course, it's all a balance, right? And you don't want to go too crazy. But try to think about ways that you can have more leverage and ways that you don't have to push the boulder up the hill all by yourself. As someone myself, Taurus, who has done a lot of solo boulder pushing as a independent, presence here on this platform and an independent person in most places in my life, I've seen the pros and cons of it, and to me, the pros still outweigh the cons. But I think people who are super independent, if you're one of those people, as am I do think that we're going to be tested this year, and I think that we're also maybe going to get positive opportunities about having a more integrative teamwork environment and also allowing a better sense of leverage coming into our lives. It's nice to have that pulley system instead of carrying all the boulders up the, near vertical cliff face, okay? This is such a positive time for bringing in new technology or new assistance of some kind, help. And yeah, I'm feeling like you guys need help. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out very bluntly. You guys need help. That combination has come up a lot lately, and I just feel like a lot of people are like, it's so easy to think maybe when we're just having that great cup of coffee or when we're doing something we enjoy, we might have all of our wonderful manifestational thoughts about what all we can do and how far we can get. And those are wonderful, but what is the system of cogs that generates that reality for you? It's dangerous, I feel, as we get into 2023 and 2024, somewhat dangerous, to be every cog in the system. It's just like a lot of liability to take on, honestly, from a very realistic standpoint. But then from a spiritual standpoint, it's also exhausting. But then also, you don't have to deal with other people's BS either. But then, yeah, you're on the line for everything too. So there's kind of like this weighing out, very like Libran energy. We're getting closer to the nodal axis in Libra and Aries. Can you feel it? It's getting a lot more like pro and con, weighing the balance sheet, understanding all of the different ways that things can work. And the second week is good for you guys to think about that in advance. Week number 3, the 9 of Swords rooted down by the Chariot. It's a similar thing. Okay, so there could be stress about systems or stress about where you're going. The Chariot is about transport, moving in a vehicle from one place to another. Some of you might be having like a vehicle stress, and then also some of you might just be like, where do I go? What location do I live in? Like, I feel like there's a Saturn in Pisces that leads to a lot of migration is one of the very easy interpretations of that. And Saturn in Aquarius was the opposite. Saturn in a fixed air sign was more like locking down, right? You know, like with the thing that happened that caused... I'm sorry, Taurus, here we are on YouTube with the thing that happened that caused us to not be able to move around quite so willy-nilly, okay? Yes, now things are changing a little bit, and I think that there's more opportunities for travel. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, how do I catch up for lost time? How do I catch up with what I didn't do before? Careful with compensation, okay, is the main thing. Like, yeah, this is going to be a new culture emerging after what we went through in 2020 through 2022. Like, people are going to be like, oh my God, I've got to catch up. I've got to visit like all the different countries that I wanted to visit during that time, or I've got to like do all of the things that I did and make up for lost time. Oh my God, what a dangerous psychology is the, I suppose, very human archetype of quote unquote making up for lost time. I've been there. Not there now so much, but careful with that one. Making up for lost time. 3rd week of April. What does that mean to you? What do you feel that you lost time? Do you feel that that's even possible? Do you devalue what happened before? Okay, no, we don't need to do that. Like, even if we're not satisfied with what happened before, even if we're learning through our own spiritual journey, that what happened in the past didn't have to happen, does not mean that it doesn't have value. I think that's going to be a big lesson of this nodal axis that we've had in your sign and Scorpio, is that even negative experiences can become very valuable, okay? And we don't need to go into how do I make up for lost time? How do I avenge myself? How do I I feel that it's been very empowering for some people to think like that. But also, what is the state of their health after operating within that particular motivational conceptualization or motivational grid? I think that it's compelling. I think it makes for good stories or novels, but I also think that it's like so potent. This motivational grid that revolves around I've got to make up for lost time, I've got to avenge myself, I've got to like take back my time or take back who I am as a person and restore my momentum. That's been a very prevalent journey for both Taurus and Scorpio over the last 2.5 years. It's such a potent journey, story, experience that it has to be done in small doses. You do not want to overdose on that. I don't even know how to label that, but it's like now I feel in April, what you want to do is you want to like allow yourself to know that it happened, or allow yourself to know that such a potent energy was engaged. It's kind of like a very nuclear energy as well. Like it's very potent, but it's also dangerous. It's very energetic and can give a lot, but can also take a lot away. So I think at a bigger scale, Taurus, what you're having this month and in this general phase of your spiritual progression, I wouldn't even isolate it down to a month timeline, is you're understanding how to work with potency. You're understanding, and this is so good for Scorpio too. I hope that some Scorpios are cross-watching this, because I don't know that I'll remember it for their reading. I will try to. But yeah, you're, with Pluto changing sign as well, you're learning at a higher level the way that you engage potency, power, and the psychology and lifestyles that integrate with those kinds of experiences. And I suppose further, the quantum mechanics almost of these kinds of like timelines. So that's probably one of the most meaningful things that I've understood in this channel in a long time. And I think that maybe the 3rd and 4th week in all of April, or all of this year, whatever you like to do, would be good to respect and revere, I don't know, the earth or the celestial grid or the, I don't know, higher spiral of events, revering the fact that you were capable of connecting or integrating yourself with these methods or journeys or timelines, because and then like through that, even if you're not super happy with where you've come now, or even if you're not like you're thinking back and you're thinking, I should have done this differently, I should have really leveraged this more, or I should have quit that then, and that's going to be possible this month. Try to offset that feeling with a greater veneration for the fact that you can even perceive of things at this level at this point in time, as compared to like a lot of people right now who would rather just have the zombie mindset, or who would rather just have the social media apps out, or watching the videos, okay, or scrolling through Tinder, or yeah, a lot of people are completely detached from this level of self-comprehension because of their need to distract themselves and escape just the reality of their timeline. But I think, Taurus, that you're not, if you're watching this video, I don't think that you are. I don't think that you could be like, law of attraction connecting to this video. I think that everybody struggles with these things to some degree during this timeline, but what needs to be gotten at through all of this, Taurus, is just that you don't need to push yourself too hard now, and you don't need to force yourself to continue these like really potent stories. That doesn't mean that the oncoming stories are not going to be potent, but if you've had a very potent like last few years, or any stories over the last, especially like year and a half, since about January 2021, or I suppose that's 2 years. Yeah, that's like 2 years, almost 2.5 years at this point, isn't it? Crazy how time flies. If you have any really potent stories that emerged since then, try to scale that down a little bit so that you can, how do I even explain? So that you can be prepared to allow another story to eventually be potent again. It's almost like you get used to things, right? Or it's like the neurology or I suppose psychology of addiction. Like you start getting desensitized to the potency, and we don't want that. Okay. So finally, Taurus, yes, 4th week of April, it's the King of Wands, you're down by the Hermit. Try to just let the inner flame burn and try to just kind of like scale things back a little bit by the 4th week of April. You are strong, compelling, potent, and have come out of something just by virtue of being in this 2023 timeline now. And what that means is that the only thing threatening you, I feel, this is hard. This is hard. The only thing threatening you is a tendency to overestimate the opinions of other people, and to overestimate also people who don't have any stake in your life, which is so dangerous to do because when you don't have stake in anything, you don't actually care. So imagine overestimating the opinion of someone who doesn't actually care about what they're asserting an opinion on. There's a great moral for you this month about that kind of thing as well, because Taurus is one of those signs that like really needs consensus and really needs like support and opinions to like positive opinions to move forward. So please do not let somebody who's not a stakeholder in your life sway your conviction about your own potent stories and goals. Come back, scale down a little bit, optimize the systems in your life, and it's going to be a great month and a great 2023 for Taurus is so opportune. Let's talk more about that in your extended Taurus. I'm going to talk about some of the ways that this year cycle in April, because we're really in it, right? It's the new year. We've come through the equinox. I'm going to talk about how you can really get a much better oiled machine going this year, and through that have just a lot more benevolence, prosperity, and abundance. So that'll be linked below, Taurus, and in the center of your screen. Come check out the Patreon page. It's a great service. I do premium weekly forecasts every week over there, as well as all of these readings. So come and check it out. I will talk to you all soon. Have a great month. Bye.